Well, we're here today to do oversight over a crisis of epic proportions for the South African economy, and that is the huge congestion at the Durban container terminal and port. We flew over a large number of ships that are waiting to get into the port. We flew over the port and looked very, very carefully at cranes that weren't working, berths that were not filled, and huge clear crises around dealing with this. This is huge economic impacts on the South African economy, particularly for retailers who are struggling to deal with load shedding, water shedding, recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, and this has just added to their burden, and something has to be done. We've got a president who likes to talk, but a president who does very little. And so we've put on the table some alternatives today that we believe would immediately start to relieve the congestion here at the port. Well, the crisis affects ordinary people because a lot of those goods out there are waiting to come to the port are going to be bought by consumers. When you drive the cost of the delays, the cost and the surcharges for congestion at the port, those costs get added onto the consumers. So consumers end up paying more for less. Also, retailers and manufacturers here that make goods for export are unable to get their goods to market timelessly, which will put jobs here at jeopardy, because if a factory cannot get its goods to market, it's going to let its employees go. So there's a huge impact. And then, of course, the economic well-being. There's loss of revenue, the loss of income for government on excise and taxes and the like. It's a huge cost, because that's money that could be being spent on clinics and schools and teachers and police officers going to waste. And so this has an impact on every single South African, regardless of whether they're in the retail industry or not. So we've made a very clear call for the President to establish an urgent task team to deal with the logistics crisis, because this is a Transnet and Portnet crisis, and it needs a private sector involvement, as well as international port operators. The most successful ports around the world and on our continent are run in public-private partnerships. There are specialist port companies that make it their business to run ports efficiently and effectively, because they know time is money, and money is important to their customers. And so we need to bring them on board to assist us in being able to get these ports open, break the congestion, and get them moving again, so that they remain strategic assets rather than strategic liabilities for us. Secondly, we've called for the creation of an ad hoc committee in Parliament between Transport, the Public Enterprises Portfolio Committee and Finance to urgently sit around the table and start coming up with a way to ensure that we've got an immediate way out of this crisis. It can't wait till next year, as the President said. These retailers need their goods before Christmas. There's many goods here that they've already missed out on Black Friday and deals around that. They're not even going to arrive before Christmas. This is huge implications for the retail industry as well as our economy.
Get help registering to vote at check.da.org.za. Register to rescue South Africa.